This video focuses on looking at your products and services or tracking your services and items in QuickBooks Online. Now, all levels of QuickBooks Online support the ability to track items, right? Simple Start Essentials and Plus. However, only QuickBooks Online Plus allows two-sided items. So you could use the same item on a check or a credit card expense or a bill as you could on an invoice or a sales receipt, right? If you want the item to hit an expense or COGS account as well as the appropriate income account, that would be the Plus level of QuickBooks Online. QuickBooks Online also is the only level that supports inventory, and at the time of this video, it is first in, first out valuation. Let's look at some company settings before we go to the products and services list. Click on the gear icon, company settings, and then sales. And you'll notice products and services here, so just click the little pencil icon. If you want to show product and service column in all sales forms, that's always going to be on by default. Do you want to track quantity, price, and rate? And then, of course, the tracking quantity on hand is what you'll find in the Plus version. So you would turn all those on if you have Plus. If you have Simple Start or Essentials, you'll see these two here. So you click Save and then Done. And then we can go to the Products and Services list. Now, you'll notice, and even after the latest release of QuickBooks Online, is that you can add pictures to your items. As well, if we were to create a new item, you can now choose, instead of just a product or service, and it doesn't really matter, I could designate the product or service to be either an item or a service itself. So let's go with an item here, and we're just going to call it Guild D25NT. Do a designation here with a SKU, we'll call it Westerly. And you can track sub-products and services as well. And I am going to track the quantity on hand for this. Now for two-sided items, and I have several service items I can show you, you would just choose the purchase side. If you're a QuickBooks Desktop user, you'll notice that the sales and purchase sides of an item, because you can have double-sided items in Pro, Premier, and Enterprise as well, even the Mac product, have been flip-flopped, right? And desktop purchases over here, sales is on the right. So just note that difference. So that's how you turn the two-sided items on, put in their description that shows up on either the purchase or sales forms, price, rate, cost, and your actual accounts. This item is I'm just going to turn on that I track quantity on hand. It's automatically going to kind of open up not only sales but purchase, but also there's a third account, the inventory asset account, which will either be debit or credit depending on what I'm doing. So you will fill out the appropriate description, the cost as well as the price and rate, the revenue account as well as the expense or cost of goods sold account, make it taxable or not. And since it's an item, I'm actually going to include a picture, which I can just click Upload and browse out to get a picture. Back on the products and services list, we see my new item, as well as I can either edit it or I can duplicate it. If I want to make a like item, run a report on it, which would be kind of like a quick report, or delete it, which is really going to make it inactive. And of course, you can merge items. Now let's look at the lawn mowing service item, so you can take a look at that. And that's basically just a double-sided item. I'm not including a picture or a SKU for this. This is really just a service. Now some reports to consider. When you go to reports and all reports and then manage products and inventory, and you'll see the inventory option because I have it turned on, I can look at evaluation detail. Again, it is first in, first out. Notice this is my new Guild D25NT. And it was an adjustment. Though there's no true inventory adjustment feature in QuickBooks Online, when you edit the item and adjust the actual quantity, it will make a quote-unquote inventory quantity adjustment. And this is just the starting quantity and my average cost. Though, again, when you buy in batches, like with first in, first out, that's going to be the valuation method that you'll notice with cost of goods sold and your valuation with QuickBooks Online Plus. QuickBooks Online Plus also supports purchase orders, so let's purchase some more of those. We'll receive them in and then sell them. I wanted to show you a couple other company settings that are related to items and managing them. I have the ability to use purchase orders in QuickBooks Online Plus, and either Simple Start Essentials or supports that. And then you have the ability to show items table on expenses and purchase forms. And if I couple that with the track expenses and items by customer, this is where it allows me to pass through materials to an invoice for a customer. So these two preferences will be critical as well. And then I'm not going to use the account details, it's really item details. And of course I have a setting turned on that remembers the last purchase for this vendor, or really just the last information that will just auto-populate for me. And in this case, I'm going to bring in another 5, which will make it to 10. And you can tag the customer if you want to pass it through. It'll float. Now, this is a non-posting transaction, but you know, when I go to the bill or the check or credit card expense, you know, this information would flow over. Now, see, when I go to my vendors center, I can just filter it by the purchase order I have, and then I can create a bill. Or if I were to go to an expense because I bought it with a credit card, when I choose the actual vendor, you'll see the purchase order pop open in the drawer, in which case I can add it. And now this is a posting transaction, and this will increase the inventory I have and then credit the, you know, credit card liability account. So now I have no more purchase orders, and then I have a, you know, a transaction I could look at under expenses, and you would see my credit card expense, how it affects inventory, asset, etc. Now keep in mind, and I'm showing you maybe more than just products and services, you can always go to the More tab transaction journal to see what was debited and credited behind any transactions. This guy Joe comes into the store, he wants to buy one of those guilds. So he's just going to write me a check. I'm going to put it on deposited funds. And then I'm actually just going to choose the guitar, and he just bought one, and then save it. And we'll see under the More tab, transaction journal. Undeposited funds is debited, sales of product, the revenues credited, cost of goods sold, because that was my purchase cost. And you have the sales tax, inventory asset, and the county tax as well. It's included. And then looking at my sales by product and service summary, back on the products and services list, you can import from Excel or a CSV file. You just browse out to it. The best way to do is to download the sample. So there's only so many columns, and then just copy paste. And you can, you know, we give you some examples which you can import, but here's the information. And then of course, you can just delete out this and then just copy paste your products and service name, sales description, etc. So I do suggest, whether it's items, chart of accounts, customers, vendors, and you're using the Excel file that we give you, to just use the sample.